Podcast 55, Learn Piano in Your Car. Today I want to talk about a reason why many people tell me they cannot take piano lessons, and that is because they don't have time. I want to unpick that a little bit though, because there's loads of people I know who'd like to learn piano and think that in 5 years' time they will be learning piano, or in 5 years' time they'll be able to play piano. But as we all know, time just slips away from us and we can't get any more of it. And what I'm challenging you today is, if we don't make the time, then learning to play isn't going to happen. You've got to carve out the time to learn to play. But also, here's a few things that I've thought about. Practising 15 minutes a day. If you think about that, I don't know how many hours that would be in 365 days, but 15 minutes a day is a considerable time investment. 15 minutes a day, and in 12 months' time, you will be transformed. Your playing will be transformed. You will be able to play. You will be a pianist in 12 months with just 15 minutes a day. And 15 minutes a day is about 1% of the time you've got. Now, I'm speaking for myself, obviously, none of you apply, but scrolling on my phone, chatting to folk, wasting time, spending 2 hours just talking about nothing. I get dragged into different emails and all sorts, but that's just me, I guess. But 15 minutes is all it's going to take to transform you into a pianist in 12 months. Now, I've got a few thoughts on how you can do that, and it's discipline and consistency, right? Because after you've watched this video, perhaps you'll feel so inspired, you'll go and you'll start to learn piano. But what happens when it's not turning out the way you thought? When you don't actually have a method book, so you're just kind of picking a bit of this and a bit of that off YouTube. What happens when there's nobody holding you accountable? Well, then you're probably just going to stop. So your initial enthusiasm is going to wane and you're not going to keep going. So what you need to keep going is discipline. You need consistency. You need perhaps to build a habit. The easiest way I know to build a habit is to tack it on to a habit you've already got. And don't set unreasonable expectations. Don't say to yourself that you're going to practice for an hour a day and you're going to, by the end of week 2, you're going to be able to play all the scales and arpeggios in the circle of fifths, which is about, I don't know, about 30 in all. These are unreasonable targets. Set yourself reasonable targets, like just practice 15 minutes a day. What you practice, how you're practicing, and how you know that you're improving is important too. And there was a previous podcast that went into all of that as well. I don't want to repeat it today because these podcasts are supposed to be short and sometimes they're getting quite long. So what do you practice, how to practice, when you practice, and how to check your progress is really important. And you need to set yourself a discipline, a habit, get into a habit, a consistency habit that makes you practice even when you don't feel like it, because your early enthusiasm will wane for sure, and it's what's going to keep you doing it when you haven't got the motivation, you've not got the inspiration, is discipline. You need to be disciplined. And remember, we're only talking 15 minutes a day here, so this is not a huge thing, is it? And remember that results will be invisible for a while. that doesn't mean nothing's happening. It just means nobody else, and perhaps you can't even see your results. So progress is invisible, and expect it. Don't set yourself a target or an expectation that isn't right. Expect progress to be invisible. And here's a story. So if you think about a farmer, okay, so the farmer plants the seed. He doesn't come back the next day and expect that it's a tree or a wheat. It's a fully grown bit of wheat, does he? He comes back the next day and he waters that seed, and he removes any weeds that have grown, and he nourishes the seed, and he makes sure that it's got the sunshine it needs and the shade that it needs, within reason, obviously. If you're in Scotland, where I am, then the sunshine and the rain can be a bit tricky to orchestrate, let's just say. But you get the idea. The farmer does not plant the seed and expect to harvest it the next day. He has to put the work in, but he's not seeing the results. You get what I'm saying? But eventually the results will be tangible. But even though he's working on the land and everything, things are still happening underneath. And this is what I was trying to say to you about progress being invisible. The plant is still putting its roots down. It's not a seed anymore. It's broken out of the seed and it's putting roots in long before there's any visible evidence that something's happening. So when you're learning piano, then your knowledge is going in and your technique is developing and your skills are developing before they've developed, before it's tangible, before anyone else can see it, probably before you can see it. It doesn't mean nothing's happening. There's something else as well. I thought it's the consistent repetition, building and building, like reading a book. If you disciplined yourself to read 10 pages of a book in a day, every day, then 10 pages doesn't sound very much, but that's 3,650 pages in a whole year. And that's incredible progress when you think about it. But what makes the progress is the consistency. It's turning up and showing up when you don't feel like it. And it's what you need to do to build a habit, discipline yourself, things that you need to realize are going to happen, see them happening before they happen. You won't feel like practicing every day, but so you expect that, but you still practice. And the other thing is, some people work on the theory that like you just don't ever miss. So you setting up a habit of going to the